Welcome to Business Spotlight today, where today the spotlight is shining on Stephen Blood, Managing Director of Big Red Digital. Welcome, Stephen.
Hi there. Hi, Yvonne. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us today. So, Stephen, tell us a bit about your business and how it started, how long you've been going. Give us a bit of background.
So the business is called Big Red Digital. We're a software development and digital marketing company. So we develop not only websites, but business platforms using our own platform that we've built over the years, which actually goes back 30 years to one of the first, I think it was an accounting system initially about 30 years ago. So the company itself, Big Red, has its roots back in the 90s, I think, from a company then called Process. They developed an accounting piece of accounting software, which then grew and was sold. Part of that business was sold off, and it then eventually became iPort, which was just a software development company. I joined iPort about 11 years ago this April, and at that point in time, my task was to commercialize the platform, turn it into a content management system that we could then build commercial websites on, and then couple that with digital marketing. So the business as a whole now is based around the platform that was designed and created at that point in time. Myself, in conjunction with the lead developer, Tommy McLaughlin, developed that over the years after I joined, and the marketing services roll out to sort of support the businesses that use the platform.
Okay. And has this always been your background, this type of work?
My initial background was in traditional graphic design. I left school and went straight to work for one of the bigger agencies in Glasgow at the time, which was Davidson Advertising, which was an advertising agency. And I learned my trade from some really excellent graphic designers at that point in time. But it was all desk-based and it was all paste up.
Yeah.
So what happened at that point was Davidson's were pretty revolutionary in that they were the first ones to, in Scotland anyway, to invest in Apple Mac equipment at the time, and we pushed design stuff through into digital quite early on.
Okay. And what do you do within the company now? What's your day-to-day role in the company?
So the kind of managing director role here is very, very hands-on. So I do a lot of the production, development, design work. I'm also heavily involved in the sales process and setting the sales process and mentoring and managing our sales director. Her name's Roisin. So all aspects of the business come through myself, if you like, and I'm also working with a young designer, mentoring him and teaching him along the way as well.
Sounds good.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. That's good.
Yeah.
Keeping your hand in. I like it.
That's it.
So if you were to hang your hat on something and say, you know what, this is what our business is really, really good at, what would you say would be the answer?
As a differentiator, that kind of thing, are you asking?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess as a differentiator, what's your standout at Big Red?
I suppose our approach is slightly different to many digital agencies. So the approach that we take from the sales process right through the scoping process is to actually listen carefully to what the clients want. We don't go into meetings or prospect meetings or client meetings with any preconceived notion about what we can do for them or what they actually want. We're more interested in finding out, you know, how is what they want to do going to affect their business? So how can we make them more profitable, and how can we strengthen the partnership that is already there, or how can we build a new partnership with them? So rather than having a set of services that we go in and sell, we're more interested in finding out what the goal is for the company, contributing to that, the ideas within that goal, and then we match that to the services and skills that we have and come up with a solution.
Okay. And if I was a potential customer, what kind of problems or issues would I be having in my business that would lead me to come to you? What would the problems you would solve be?
It could be like an admin process that's taking up a lot of resource. for your business. For example, our uniform management system was designed specifically to reduce that burden on businesses, and not only businesses that buy and supply their staff with uniform, but also suppliers themselves. So traditionally, the procurement business for uniform would be someone would run out of it. They would have a jacket, they would run out of it, they would fill in a form, they would take it to the procurement. They would then have to send an order to the supplier. The supplier would then send a note back to say, yes, it's in stock, blah, blah, blah. So there's a whole chain of a process there. So what we've done with that particular platform, just as an example, is we've allowed the staff member themselves to access a portal. They only see the uniform items that apply to their role, and they can order replacement items. The order goes directly through the platform and straight onto the supplier for fulfillment. So it cuts the whole process down from something that would take maybe 2 or 3 hours over a couple of people to something that's done within 30 seconds.
Wow. And what kind of sectors or customers are using that kind of service? Is it construction or?
Well, there's a lot of construction is using it, but things like prison services, CalMac ferries have that particular platform in place. Airline companies use it as well. So there's a whole raft of different businesses that use that particular platform. Delivery companies. I'm trying desperately to think. So actually suppliers as well. So we have business over in Australia with Australian suppliers of uniform who actually put that platform in and let their customers connect to it. So it's a multi-customer platform for them as well.
Wow, that sounds really good. And so, it sounds like you're in a good place now, and it sounds like the management system for the uniforms going well.
Yeah.
What are some of the bumps in the road you've had over the last 11 years?
From a personal perspective or from the business perspective?
Mainly business perspective, yeah.
From a business perspective, probably there's a couple of things. Obviously, running a business and a small business through the difficult economic circumstances that we've had.
Yeah.
In current years, we've had COVID and we now have a cost of living crisis, which makes people's purse strings a lot tighter. Which makes the sales process a lot harder. So it makes it very, very difficult to push growth through the business. And what you have to do, rather than sort of sit in your hands and wallow in it, is become agile. You have to go looking at the sectors where there is business, where particularly where there is businesses that can be profiting from a downturn.
Yeah.
Retail companies, that kind of thing. So that's been very difficult. Some of the other challenges that we face in terms of growing the business is recruitment, particularly of technical staff. We've found in recent years it's very, very difficult to get technical staff up to the standard that we would want. There is a definite shortage in Scotland of developers, and we've found that. So what we would traditionally do as a business is take younger people on and mentor them and bring them up. What tends to happen there is you can do that for maybe 12, 18 months and they'll see a job somewhere else and they'll be off. So we've tried that. We've also tried hiring in seemingly experienced developers. And when they come in, they've not been up to the technical challenge of what we need them to do, unfortunately. So that's been pretty difficult as well.
Yeah, it certainly is a shortage in Scotland, as you say, in that sector. So if you were starting over again 11 years ago, what would you do differently? Maybe that you wished you had done, that hindsight has given you the gift of.
Hindsight has given me the gift. I don't think I would do anything differently. So 11 years ago, when I was brought in here to look at this role, so there was no obligation that I had to use our own developers or our own platform at that point in time. The question was, do we use the platform that we have, or do we use open source software such as WordPress or Joomla, Concrete 5 at that time? And at that point in time, I had made the switch, which was another kind of personal challenge, I suppose. Coming from a traditional design background and advertising, was making that switch to when things were moving into the digital realm. That was a difficult step, but one that had to be taken.
Mm.
So when I did take that step, before I joined iPort as it was then, I did work with a lot of different CMS systems, WordPress, etc. And so the challenge then was, would you use one of these open source ones, or should we produce our own platform? And I think at that point in time, we made the right decision to continue developing our own platform and working with our developers, because it's given us a much more flexible product.
Yeah.
And it's also allows us to support the products that we sell and the services that we sell much more effectively.
Okay. And I guess,
That wasn't really an answer to your question, but it kind
no,
of.
it was. So you built a platform that you're glad you've got your own platform. It's given you more flexibility. I
Yeah.
guess looking ahead to the next 5 years, 10 years, what changes are you going to see in the industry? Is your platform, still going to see you through the changes that you think are coming?
Yes, it is, and we're putting measures in place to do that as well. So we're migrating from one code base to another code base, which looks like it will future-proof it even more. The challenge again is, how can we get people in to take on the mantle? To work with the technology that we've got and continue to develop it and to push it on. So that's the challenge over the next 5 years. The immediate challenge is getting through the downturn that we've got, getting through to the other end of it in a good state, which, fingers crossed, touch wood, it looks like we're doing pretty good at that. So over the next 5 years, that continues to be the challenge, to grow the business and to continue developing the platform and the products and services that we have.
Okay. Sounds good. And so, what inspires you in business? Where'd you get your inspiration from? Have you got any business gurus that you follow, or anything you listen to or watch? Or
Um,
maybe someone that's in a different business that you think, yeah, they do well?
no, do you know what? I would be lying if I said I follow. I don't watch Dragon's Den, and I don't really follow any business press as such.
Yeah.
It's really a sort of personal drive and ambition. When I joined this business, our chairman is his name's Chick McSherry, and he's a continues to be an inspirational figure in terms of what he's done in business and how we approach it. So he's a good guiding light, I would say. But I don't particularly follow any external mentors or anything like that. I just kind of get my head on down and go on with it.
You've got a good internal shining light, as you say, so that's helpful.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just finishing up then, Stephen, what would your advice be to anyone starting out in business or going into business now?
I think the main thing that you have to have is a full confidence in your idea. So you need to know what you want to do, but you also need to know that you're in the right position to do it. So you need to know your industry inside out, and you need to have 100% confidence and commitment in yourself to be able to pull it off. There's not a lot of people can do it.
Sound advice, Stephen. Thank you. Well, look, thank you for joining us today on the Business Spotlight. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.